Well, I'm Alan Dale from Gale Force Winds. It's so great to be here. Day 2, DEFSEC Atlantic, sponsored by our good friends here at Cisco. I love the conversations we're having. Joanna, it's always good to catch up with you to find out what you're doing. I know Broadreach is on fire these days. You're catching a lot of wind in your Broadreach. So tell us a little bit about the company these days.
So it has really evolved because I started the company really to, my initial focus was to help Atlantic Canadian companies because there's so many brilliant people, great technology. There's so much going on in Atlantic Canada with this Ocean Supercluster, with Diana now, having recently opened the office. It's just been booming. But it's really evolved. My first client was GIT Coatings in Halifax, and now they are expanding internationally, which is fantastic to see. So I only had one Atlantic Canadian client, but had clients across the country and in the UK. Now I'm looking at U.S. companies as well. I've been working with associates because I can't keep up with the demand, which has been fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's great to be growing like that.
Yes.
Joanna, how would you summarize your product offering? What does Broadreach give the client?
Well, as we all know, Canadian defence procurement is very complex. It is quite frequently frustrating. A lot of companies, when they're just entering into the market, the ecosystem, they don't really know how to navigate, who to talk to. So I really help them navigate Canadian defence procurement. We look at their strategy, help build their pipeline, establish who they need to be talking to, so create a customer engagement plan. Then I make introductions. So it's upfront. It's mostly about the education to get them from a level of knowledge where they're beyond dangerous, they're really effective. So that's my real initial value. And then I have longer term relationships where I'm providing advisory or course corrections to what they're doing. Also working with Canadian companies looking internationally and international companies coming to Canada.
And Joanna, I noticed, and that's great. You're so right. It's complex. Everything from ITBs and obligations and NATO Diana and all these words being swirled around. You could just imagine an SME trying to navigate that, or even a large company looking at Canada. But it's such a good offering that you're providing, sort of guiding them through that. You a lot of international speaking of late. Talk to me about that.
So. And that's part of the involvement of the brand, of me. I'm also on the Ottawa board for the Organization for Women in International Trade. So that then took me to the Global Summit of Women in Madrid, Spain earlier. I also spoke in Austria to an international sales team for a company there. Then the Trade Commissioner in Copenhagen asked me to come over and speak to Danish and Canadian companies in advance of Dalo Industry Days. So told them what they needed to know about doing business in Canada and really gave them a picture of what the, not issues, but what the challenges are and how to best partner with companies and what the prime obligors are and who they should be talking to. So that's been a lot of what I've been doing recently. I've also been in Toronto speaking at an EU-Canada Chamber of Commerce event on the risk and security and of international trade, especially between the EU and Canada, and really bringing both the defense side to the issue and also investing in women, because I'm also an investor with Sandpiper Ventures, which is a seed level fund for investing in women.
If I could pull on the string a little bit about women in this sector, what are you seeing? How are you seeing that evolve?
That's an interesting question because there has definitely been more women, especially in senior roles. I think that's what I'm seeing. We've got a lot of women entering the defense industry, and that's been fantastic, and a lot of senior people. But still, when I go to events, it's not very diverse in a number of respects. So what I am trying to do always is to bring more women into the industry. So I do a lot of mentoring. I'm involved with Women in Defense and Security, just because if you don't know what you don't know. And I'm there to pass on my information and make it, it's a safe place in here. And it's a very interesting place. I mean, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't love what I do.
Right. I tend to agree with your comments there. And I love the fact that we're seeing more women in senior roles. showing a lot of folks there's a pathway here.
Absolutely.
There is a really good pathway,
Yes.
and it's a good place to work.
Yes.
Right? Doing some really interesting things. So when we have young students on and stuff like that, I'm so impressed that there's leaders in this room,
Yes.
much like yourself, for them to see. That's fantastic. So big, exciting things for Broadreach in the next 12, 24 months.
Yeah.
What's on that near horizon?
I think there's a wave that I'm riding, and a lot of travel still coming up, and I think I might be speaking in another Nordic country, so that's continuing. More international growth and bringing more associates in, because I really need to, what I provide and the value that Broadreach provides is to really up companies' games and give them the best chance of success and higher probability of win within an industry that, defense spending, it's up, but it's also down. And it's, procurements take longer, there are delays, there are complications. So companies need to spend their money and their overhead, because business development is overhead. You can't bill it into a contract. They have to be more efficient with how they spend their money.
Joanna, always a pleasure to have you on the show. I love the name Broadreach. It sort of matches near perfectly with Gale Force Winds.
Yes,
so we've got some nautical wind going on there, but it's been a real pleasure to have you on the show, and wish you all the success.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Thanks, Al.